Hi everybody, I just wanted to show you how to register for MyITLab as well as how to use a few of the features in MyITLab. MyITLab is the simulated office environment we'll be using for all of our labs, practical exams, and even the final exam at the end of class. So it is very important to the class. You must have MyITLab. You will not pass without it. And so there are two ways to purchase MyITLab. The first is through the bookstore. Now, if you go to the bookstore, you will find a bundle. And in that bundle, there will be two things. One is a card that will have an access code for MyITLab on it. That card is essentially their way of purchasing access to MyITLab through a bookstore. It will also come with a paper version of the textbook, Technology in Action. If you want a paper physical copy of the textbook, that is the best way to do it. Go to the bookstore, get the bundle. We've worked with Pearson. It's a very cheap price, so it's a little over $100. But for the bundle, it'll end up being a good deal. In fact, I think at least in the early semesters, you were better off doing that and then selling the book, which you shouldn't do. But anyway, it's a good deal. If you do not need a physical copy of the textbook, however, you don't need paper. MyITLab has an electronic copy of the textbook built into it. So you are going to get the electronic copy regardless of which method you choose. And you can use that electronic copy for all your quizzes, readings, etc. It is sufficient just to have that. And you can purchase MyITLab access directly from Pearson. It'll save you 30 some odd dollars. It's a perhaps better way to go if you're not tied to having a physical textbook. The choice is yours. I will show you how to do both. Now, if you do not have money for the textbook right now, that's fine. There is a 2-week free trial. All right. So if you're waiting for financial aid to come in, if you're paying it for yourself and you just need to wait for your next paycheck, you can actually sign up, register for MyITLab, and get 2 weeks of free access before you get cut off, so that you can start doing your labs immediately. So you don't have to miss out on anything here in these early weeks. All right. And I'll show you how to do that as well. So where do you get the information? It will be under weekly content. And then in weekly content, go to week 1. And here you will see all the things that you need to do in week 1. You need to read the syllabus. Here's the syllabus overview lecture. You should probably take a look at that. Here's your discussion. And here's the information for registering for MyITLab, the video you're currently watching, as well as some information about the browser tune-up. I'll talk about that later when it comes to troubleshooting. Important to note, this is not your course ID. All right. This is a course ID for some other course where I'm actually doing the video. It has nothing to do with your course. You need to go into your Blackboard, go to your week 1 folder, and copy your code. It'll still say Baker and it'll have some digits after it, but it won't be the same digits. So make sure you get your specific course ID, not this one. So first step is we are going to go to myitlab.com. That will take us to the main page. And here's where you could sign in, but here is, obviously you can't sign in yet, you don't have an account, so we're going to register. So register now. You are a student. I'm going to click student. Do you have these 3 things? Sure you do. Hit OK, register now. The version of MyITLab that we'll be using is Microsoft Office 2013. That's the most recent, so that's one we'll be covering. Go ahead and click on that. And the first thing it asks you for is a course ID. It wants to make sure you get put in the right course. So I'm going to go down here, double click to select that. I'm going to hit Command C or Control V, depending on the computer you're on. You could also right click and choose copy. Both methods will work. And then click in the field, paste using Control V, Command V, or right clicking and choosing paste, and continue. The first thing you should notice is that it says your course, and you should see my name, Brian Baker. The actual section number may change, the semester may change, but you should see my name, Brian Baker, and it should look roughly like, oh yeah, that looks like the class I should be part of. Now, once you've verified that that's the case, you've got 2 options. One is to sign in with your Pearson account. The other is to create a Pearson account. If you've already taken math, so you have an account for MyMathLab or My Foreign Language Lab or My Chemistry Lab or any class on campus that uses the Pearson MyITLab products, then you can use the same username and password you use for those classes. Just put that information in here, hit sign in, you're good to go. Otherwise, create a Pearson account, and I imagine that's what most people will need to do. So go ahead and hit create, and then put in your information. So I am going to type in an email address. All right. You can use any email address you want. However, if you use your student email address, that means that we have a way of helping you get that information later on. And I misspelled village because I'm not a very good typist, apparently. So yeah, I would use the student email. If something goes wrong, we can help you get back into that. If you use Gmail or Yahoo or something like that, then you have to kind of deal with them if for some reason you lose access to your email account. Then choose a password, anything you want. It needs to have some capitals, some numbers, etc. You have to type it in a second time. So long as they match, you should be okay. We'll talk about passwords and good passwords later on. Right now, just choose something that sounds secure, meets the security standards, and you think you can remember. And then we need to type in the name, and then choose a security question. We'll talk about security questions later on in the class as well. You should choose something that I can't answer by simply looking at your Facebook profile, or something that's pretty easy to guess. Security questions like what color was your first car? Unless you get really specific and say something like galactic gray metallic, chances are it's going to be gray, black, white, silver, red, yellow, blue, or green. Probably not green. So there's something I could guess in just a few tries. That's not a really good security question. These security questions are not very good. I don't even know what is my account security hint. I don't know what kind of question that is. Here's another strategy you can do. I'm going to choose what town was I born in. This is a terrible question. 80% of people still live in the town they were born in. If you guess Fresno, California, you're going to be right for most of the people in the class. So say what town was I born in and lie. I just know that whenever I'm on the internet, I was born in Hobbiton, right? It's a fictional place. Nobody would ever guess that. It essentially just acts as a second type of password. So point being, you don't have to be honest. You just have to remember your lies, and that should be good enough. Go ahead and choose I accept the agreement. Believe me, this agreement has nothing in it nearly as bad as what you agreed to when you signed up for Facebook, and hit create account. I do not want to remember that password. This is a fake account. So now I see a couple different options here. I can use an access code. If I were to have purchased the package from the bookstore, I would click on this button. It would have me type in a long list of characters that you'll find actually on the card itself. The card will look something like this probably, unless they've changed the printing. And then you'll hit a button and it'll take you to the same page that we're all going to go to here in a second. So if you purchase from the bookstore, this is the option for you. If you want to just purchase directly from Pearson, you don't want the paper copy of the textbook, you're okay just having the ebook for a textbook, then choose use a credit card or PayPal. Click on this button. It will ask for your payment information. And then once it's done with that, you click on a button and it will take you to the exact same page that everybody else is going to get to here in a second. Now there is a third option. It's just not quite as visible as these two. It's right down here. If you're waiting for financial aid, you can get temporary access without payment for 2 weeks. So whenever you select this, whenever you start this process, you'll have 2 weeks from that time where you'll have free access to our course in MyITLab, and then they'll cut you off. But again, that is great if you're just waiting for financial aid, if you're waiting for your next paycheck, if you just need a little bit of time, but you know you need to get stuff done now. Don't fall behind here at the beginning of the semester. Get your free 2 weeks. That's the option I'm going to choose because it'll be the easiest for me to follow up with. And it says, please wait, processing your order. In reality, it's just enrolling us into the class. Hey, we're done. We can print this page as a receipt if we want to. It's got all the information. That's great. I'm going to hit go to my course. And hey, here's what I would normally see when I log in to MyITLab. I've got my course right here, as well as other courses. If you have a math course or something, you put it all on the same account. And I've also got a link so that I can actually pay for this here before the 14 days expires. So make sure you use this. If you let this collapse, your whole class will disappear, and they'll send you an email with a link that you can then use to access, to essentially pay for it and get back into the course. But regardless, we're just going to click on the course so you can see what MyITLab looks like. So this is what we'll see here when it eventually pops up. Under labs and exams, we've got the textbook here, and there'll be some labs here normally. Because I'm recording this before the beginning of the class session, there's none listed here, but I'll show you the textbook. Click on that. Has the little link. We click on that, and eventually your textbook will pop up. This is, like I said, the full e-version, electronic version of the same textbook that people are going to get in the bookstore. And so you can use it for quizzes. You can actually click on chapter 1, read through chapter 1. You can also do stuff like, hey, if the question is asking you about, I don't know, computer literacy, I can type in the word literate, and let's see. Hey, look, here's something from chapter 1. Actually, there's several things from chapter 1. Literate workers. I could try and pin down to the exact place in the chapter where I think the answer is going to be. I just chose a very generic word to search for. So that's how you use the e-text. Now give me 1 second. I'll be right back, and I'll actually show you a lab. Hello, everybody, and we're back. I just needed to make a lab appear. So, hey, look, now we have a lab. So I just want to show you kind of quickly how the labs work, and some basic features of the lab, how you'll kind of go through it. When you click on a lab, you'll see a new window pop up. I'm just going to make that kind of as big as I can get it. And here we go. The big section of the window will be our simulated environment. So this kind of looks like Windows 8. If I click on things, it should kind of operate kind of like Windows 8, or at least it'll start telling me that I'm incorrect unless I click on the right things. Usually it'll be Word, but our first skill is actually going to be to start Word. So we start it from Windows. Down here is actually the instructions, what it wants me to do. The part in bold is the thing I need to do now. Once I'm done with that, then it will turn gray, just like all this other text. And the next thing, where it says type internships available, that will become bold. And then I need to do that. So each question is sort of broken up into different tasks that you need to do. So just kind of work through doing each of the tasks in order until you get to the end of the question. Over here, if I ever kind of get lost, I can always just reset a question by clicking that button. Sometimes maybe there's just a little error. You've gone way off into a menu you didn't intend to. You can always reset. It'll get you right back to kind of how the question started. I can bounce between questions by using these arrows. Move to the next question. I can move to the previous question. I can click this little button over here to view all questions, and I can skip around, see which ones I have incomplete. These are the two I was skipping between. The ones I haven't attempted, the ones I've gotten correct, the ones I've gotten incorrect. You only get a question incorrect when you exhaust all your attempts. So here it says start Microsoft Word 2003. I'm going to do that by pressing the messaging button. You see it said incorrect action right down here. And I have 9 attempts remaining. Oh, well, maybe I should click on this. Oh, no, incorrect action. Now I have 8 attempts remaining. Oh, well, how do I actually start Microsoft Word? I don't know how to do this. Remember, this is a formative process. I don't expect you to know how to do it. This is how you learn how to do it. So, how do you actually learn how to do it? This button right here that says Learning Aids. You will use this button a lot. When you click on it, you have 3 options. You can read about it. So I'm going to click on Read. It will take me to a page in an e-text, sort of a lab book, that will talk about essentially how to create a new document and how to launch Word. So that's an option. You can always read about it to get more information if you'd like. I can click on Watch. If I click on Watch, I'll see a video, and the video will talk about essentially how
In
to
the Windows
do.
8
I'm going to get rid of that, and it will tell us how to launch stuff, how to start a new document. So the video could be really helpful. It's especially helpful in telling you why you're doing something. Sometimes you can kind of just get into the rut of just doing stuff and not really worrying about why you're doing it. Sometimes it's good to know why. In this case, I think we kind of know why we're trying to open a document, but I think the best of the three options is practice. Practice is definitely the most interactive. What it essentially does is it relaunches the question. I hope. There we go. Relaunches the question, but this time in practice mode.
In the Windows 8 Start screen,
And so
type
you will hear
Word
somebody talking,
2013 and then press Enter.
and that person will tell you, essentially, they'll just read this here, what you need to do. So in the Windows 8 Start screen, type Word 2013. This is just a Windows 8 thing. In Windows 8, you can just start typing stuff and things appear. So we started typing Word. Hey, look, here's Word 2013. That's the first thing I need to do. Start Microsoft Word 2013 and display a blank document. So I'm going to click on that. And hey, then it says click on blank
document.
Click on the blank document. I'm going to click on that. And now I'm here. It says practice is complete. Now I should try it for myself. And so now it's going to have me do it all over again. So I'm going to type in Word, click on that. And then once Word appears, click on the blank document. Hey, I did it right. And you'll notice that now this has gone to gray. And this has become boldface. I need to type internships available and press enter 2 times. So I can do that. Now, you notice even though I've moved to the next thing, I'm still on the same question. And so I still only have 8 attempts remaining. So you kind of want to be careful with some of these. In fact, here, I'm going to do this. Oh, I mistyped it. I hit enter, and it says I got it wrong. Whenever you see something in blue, you need to type it exactly as it appears. Capitalization, punctuation, everything matters. So if it's in blue, you need to get it right. So I'll hit that, hit enter. Oh, apparently I had already made a mistake. You should be a lot more careful about this sort of stuff. I'm flying through. I hit enter twice, and hey, look, now I'm on to the next thing. And I've still got 6 attempts remaining on this question. All I need to do is to get through this question. In fact, this one has, you type a lot of things. Most of them do not involve much typing. It's a lot of clicking. But in this case, once I get it all done, then it'll say, hey, your question's correct. You can move on to the next question. Now, as I'm going through the questions, getting stuff correct, getting stuff incorrect, again, I have 10 attempts at every single question. Only when I exhaust all 10 attempts. In fact, let's do that. I hit page layout. I hit line number. No, I'm going to hit breaks. I'm going to hit, breaks, insert page break. Nope, that's incorrect. Breaks, insert column break. No, that's incorrect. All I need to do is type. I'm just clicking on a bunch of stuff because I eventually, I'm down to 2 attempts. I better not get this wrong. I better not get this wrong. All attempts have been exhausted. I have to click OK. All right.
Type
now,
the following sentence.
It automatically sends me into practice mode. It's just a way of sort of hopefully getting you to learn the skills as you go through all this stuff. And in fact, it still shows it as incomplete. Wow. Apparently I've made these super easy. You can actually just keep reattempting stuff until you eventually get it right. At the end of the day, you've got to finish this, right? So you've either gotten all the questions right, you've gotten some of them wrong, and so you've got 2 buttons over here, save and submit. This is sort of an important thing. Let's say you're working on a lab. You've gotten 12 questions in, and your friends say, hey, man, we want to go see Avengers 8, right? Because I'm sure that'll be out anytime now. So you want to go see a movie. Friends come over. Oh, but I'm doing my homework. How do I handle this? Just hit save. Save for later. okay, it's saved. It'll show in progress. Um, you won't have a score for it yet because you haven't submitted it, but it'll be saved. And then when you're done watching the movie, you come home later that night. Hey, I want to actually go back to it. I click on this, and it'll take you right back to the last, or actually, it'll take you back specifically to the first question you have incomplete, um, which may not be the question you ended on. But anyway, it'll take you to the first question you've got incomplete, which in this case, I never finished a question, so it takes me back to question one. You'll notice it takes me back to the beginning of question one. For people who play video games, your save points are the questions. So you may lose a little bit of progress in a question, but most of the questions, if you look at them, like it's just all one thing you do, right? So they're not usually a whole lot of these big multi-part questions. All right, so you can skip around in the questions, save for later if you need to come back to it. When you're done, hit submit. Submit will actually submit your assignment. So do you want to submit the assignment? Okay. And now it'll actually give you a grade. And we scored a 0% because I didn't get a single question right. But that's all right. Remember, you can redo the labs as often as you want. This is not an exam. So if I click on the lab again, it just starts me over at the beginning with no questions answered. Which turns out to be where I was. So you can do these tests as many times as you want. You've got multiple attempts for every question. There's really not a lot of reason to score poorly on these. Again, it's formative. Use your learning aids. Make sure you understand how to do it so that you're prepared for the practical exam when that comes up. All right. But again, save for later, not submit. Don't accidentally do the wrong thing. And we've tried to put in a few safeguards so that if you accidentally just close the window, which never do that. In fact, Firefox is saying, are you sure you want to do that? It should save for you, but I can't guarantee it. Do yourself a favor, make sure you hit the save button. That's going to help you out a lot. All right, so that's MyITLab. That's kind of how it works. That's the different features in it. If for some reason MyITLab is not working well on your computer, there is a little troubleshooting thing down here. MyITLab browser tune-up. If you click on this, it'll take you to a place where you can just click on this. You can download a little program that will install on your computer, and you can use it to launch MyITLab. It'll put an icon right on your desktop, so whenever you need to do a lab or something, you just double click on that icon and it'll take you into MyITLab. But before it does, it will check your browser real quick. It'll make sure that your Java settings are correct. If it sees any sort of temporary files, maybe you logged in but you didn't log out or something like that into MyITLab, it'll fix those for you. It'll delete stuff that might interfere. It's perfectly safe to run. It's a good idea. So just choose the one that you want, install that, and then use that as a way of launching MyITLab. It'll have you log in, everything like normal. But it's a good solution if for some reason it's not working on your system as well. In general, if your system is up to date, you're using one of the recommended browsers. Although, by the way, Safari does not work very well. So it's better to use the Chrome browser from Google or the Firefox browser from Mozilla. Those are the two best. If for some reason one doesn't seem to be working well for you, try the other one. And here are some links you can use to actually go visit and download either Chrome or Firefox onto your system. So, but in general, if you've got your Java up to date and everything's sort of set, you should be okay. Again, this is just as a troubleshooting tool. It ends up helping most people to make sure MyITLab runs well on your home system. All right, so that's it. If you have any other questions, you know where I am. Send me an email and I will get back to you. All right, have a great one.